So with Xbox, more or less, kind of sounding like they're going to be out of the picture. I mean, it sounds like they're still going to make consoles, but at the same time, they're just going to put their games on everything else. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'm guessing, like, Xbox will be some kind of, like, low-end PC you can buy to play on, which would include probably anything else like Steam or whatever gaming services of your choice could be on there. That's just a guess. I really don't know. But it sounds like they're more or less, by rumors and stuff, pretty much more or less out of the console business for the time being, or I don't know, whatever. And then there's also the rumors that Sony is considering not putting their first-party games on PC anymore, like the single-player. Like, for example, let's say the new Wolverine game coming out later this year. It's going to stay on Xbox, not Xbox, duh. It's going to stay on PlayStation, PS5, maybe PS6. You know they're going to do a PS6 upgraded version that comes out, and it's not really coming to PC. Now, I don't know how. I really don't know how solid I've been hearing the rumors and stuff like that from multiple sources. I don't know how real or fake any of that might be. But for the sake of this video, let's just pretend that that is true. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to make here that that's the direction that they're going. And single-player first-party games that were on PlayStation are staying on PlayStation and not getting a PC release at all in the future. So with that being said, we're basically down to an original old-school console war, this time back to PlayStation versus Nintendo. And so, yeah, it looks like we're kind of going back to that, more or less. Like I said, for the sake of argument here, I'm going to pretend that all that is true. So, we're probably going to see a bunch of those videos again, Nintendo versus PlayStation, stuff like that, with the occasional PC guy, probably me, jumping in to give our 2 cents about how, well, we're better than both of you, ha 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 ha. I don't really do that, but sometimes it's fun to do that just for a laugh. I'm lying. I'll do that. But anyway, my point is it definitely feels like we're coming to a more old school console thing. But here's the problem with that. Here's the biggest problem with that as a whole. Because this time PlayStation could come out not looking like the loser in this situation. And here's why. For the longest time, PlayStation, rightfully so, had something over Nintendo based on, like, the power structure. Nintendo was putting up this hardware that, while good, just wasn't as powerful as, like, Xboxes or PlayStations and stuff like that. So a lot of games back then were skipping Nintendo basically because of the power difference. There are a lot of games they didn't put on Wii U because, well, one, the Wii U, they didn't really work with the third parties to do the hardware. The Wii U wasn't as powerful as, like, the PS3 or the PS4 at the time. And third parties were doing it just for the power structure. They stay away from it, stuff like that. Plus, Nintendo was just having a bad time with relations with third-party companies at the time. I don't know. They made up a bit when the Switch came out, but the Switch was still not as powerful as the other consoles. It was basically, there are still a lot of games come to PlayStation and Xbox simply because they had the power, and the Switch did not. Now, a lot of those games did go to Switch, but it was like the low-end version that didn't really do that well. But now, PlayStation is facing a problem they didn't have for the longest time, but will now have with the Switch 2. And do you want to know what that is? Final Fantasy. Because the Final Fantasy games, the remakes, guess what? They're going to Switch. And when Part 3 comes out, guess what? It's probably going to go to Switch. Because the Switch now, the Switch 2, anyway, I should say Switch 2, has the ability to play a lot of these games that the Switch couldn't do. But now, since they upped the power a bit, it can do 4K, it has all these different features on it, it can handle these games. And it can handle the Final Fantasy game. So that is definitely something I think that might cause a problem. Because think about it. Now you can get all on one system your Mario games, your Zelda games, and your Final Fantasy games. And Square already said they're going to try to put more their Final Fantasy games and all their games on. They're not going to keep them exclusive to any platform. So PC is going to get it. PlayStation, Nintendo, they're definitely branching out and putting it on like other platforms. Even Square was like, yeah, I think we're done with this console exclusivity kind of thing. I don't know, maybe more different deals be made in the future. I couldn't tell you. But the point is like PlayStation is now facing a real threat this time around when it comes to facing Nintendo, because Nintendo is now getting a lot of these. I mean, Resident Evil 9, that came out for everything the other day. That's out. Resident Evil 9 did not skip Nintendo. Resident Evil games skipped Nintendo for the longest time. I mean, you've got a couple of games on there eventually, but now they got day and date Resident Evil Requiem. That's huge. Like, I don't think people realize how big of a deal that is. And you know, and there's all that stuff like that. So yeah, basically the console war this time around is gonna be way different, because like the longest time, Sony or the PlayStation guys could brag that there were games coming to their system that Nintendo wasn't getting that were third party. But now, a lot of those third party games are working with Nintendo again. Nintendo improved their relations and now have hardware that can handle a lot of these upcoming games and everything like that. So, oh boy, it's going to be hard. It is definitely going to be hard to be a PlayStation fanboy in the next couple of years. So, y'all have fun with that. But anyway, just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there on that. And there you go. So, I will talk to you guys next time.